All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, welcome to you, welcome one and all to this, our morning version of this thing of ours, which we do live daily at 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. right here at Lionel Nation. It is such a pleasure to be with you, an inordinate pleasure. I thank you for being with us. I want you to sit back, enjoy yourself, and watch what we are doing. Watch and pay close attention, as we always do, as I always start off. We are at 166 days until the election. 166 days. And what I want you to do is I want you to be able to focus, critically think, and pay attention to what's going on. Headlines are okay, but they're distracting. They don't really reveal what's important. They are artificially created. Whenever you see trending, there's nothing trending. What's trending is what's trending. The trending is trending, not the stories. The trending is trending. Next, do not expect the country to understand or to grasp what is truly important, because we have basically a third grade education. Remember, and I'm sorry to say this, remember that the average or the median age voter is like 55. No college education. Now, soon that phrase will mean nothing, but now I think it's a bit misleading, okay? But there are a number of things I want you to pay attention to. And I want you to listen, and I don't want to necessarily reflect, and this is a big mistake I'm making. I don't want to chase headlines. That's not what I do. Some of the headlines are not important. They're boring to me. But if you say them, I know you're supposed to. Like sometimes I think to myself, I still think the best news show that I'm seeing, and this could change next week, this could change tomorrow. But what's a great show is Breaking Points. And I like it because it's younger. It shows me the trajectory of where things are going. Emily and Ryan are great. Crystal and Sagar, really, really, really good. But I look at topic selection. And I look at how they do this. Now, in the world of talk radio, and by the way, if you are really listening, if you are really interested in doing a podcast of your own, and you want to have a team, which is very important, first determine what it is that you want to focus on. Know what you do and stick to it, and ask yourself, do you want to do it? Do you want to open up a Mexican restaurant or an Italian restaurant? Or, quote, I love the big thing here in New York, they say Mediterranean. There's like 20-something countries in Mediterranean. What are you talking about? It normally means like Middle Eastern, Israeli falafel. Anyway, but ask yourself, what kind of restaurant do you want to be? One of the greatest, one of the best, one of the most interesting, one of the most thorough platforms, I told you, is my good friend Judge Napolitano. But they talk about Ukraine, Israel. Now, there has been some new references. They've had, they're talking about other aspects, but it's a very interesting subject matter, but that's it. And he does it probably better than ever. He has a usual rotation, and that's it. It is extremely successful. I can't do this. In as much as I find Israel and Palestine fascinating, so critical, it is a niche subject which 99% of Americans have absolutely no understanding of. Oh, they'll talk about it. I mean, they'll talk about it. They'll repeat some particular reference point, but they don't understand it. So what is the answer? What is the secret? Well, I'll tell you. But first, I want you to listen to this incredibly important and critical word from our incredibly important and critical sponsor, and I think you know who it is. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas, premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0. My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever. Sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets. Simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. mypillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. Whenever someone tells you that something is trending, they're creating the trend. They're creating it. It's their trending. When you go to Twitter trend, it's their. I don't know anybody's talking about this. They're talking about it. And the trend creates what people are talking about. The trend creates what they're talking about, which is fascinating. The trend creates it. Like I write, for example, here's what's the most important issues today, and I write what are the most important issues of the day. I told you when I was a kid, my parents and I, we were on some trip around the Smoky Mountains or something. And there was a sign that said 5 miles until the most photographed place in the Smoky Mountains. We went, we waited, we detoured, we went out of our way. It said 5, 4, 3, 2, less than 1 mile to the most photographed place in the Smoky Mountains. And we got out. You know what it was? It was a film stand. It was a place where you bought film. And a sign that said the most photographed site in the Smoky Mountains. I'll never forget that. My mother and I laughed and said, "This is brilliant." It's like the pet rock kind of a thing. It creates the momentum. You are creating the momentum. The first rule of everybody is to create the momentum. And as I was saying, I love Gray Zone. I was listening to Max and Aaron. Fantastic, wonderful, great. Jeffrey Sachs, Mearsheimer. Oh my God. But in my world, 99% of most people I know don't know who he is. They don't give a damn about Israel. And it's something about Hamas and whatever it is. Now, do you want to do a niche subject? You want to stick to that? You can do that. You can be they're very good. Oh my God, you can watch. I was watching a great piece by Chris Hedges, Ilan Pape. Wonderful, if that's your niche. That ain't going to play in this country, but it plays around the world. Americans don't care about that. Americans have no clue, no interest at all of that. That's fine. So you got to ask yourself the question, well, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? What is it? Porch sitters, bless your heart. Thank you. New member. By the way, keep an eye on your Amazon porch products. You got those porch thieves. Now, I want to keep talking about this. I want to know what's happening with all of the world. Social, political, sports, and how I learn what's happening. And more important than anything else is the psychology. You and I can talk about the ICC all we want. You and I can talk about, you know what I think is interesting? Why does America applaud when Putin gets indicted by the ICC, but not Netanyahu? Does that make any sense to you? When Khan said that the ICC, they called it the International Caucasian Court, because somebody said that's for Africans and a couple outliers like Putin and Milosevic. Yeah. But not us. Don't you turn that on us. No. Wait a minute. So explain to me one thing. Why is the ICC okay if they indict Putin, but not if they indict Netanyahu? Next, where do you get your what do you know about this? Nothing. How do you know what you know? I don't know. How do people know what they know? I don't know. I asked somebody, I said, how is let's assume there's the colonized people and non-state actors. How are they to act against occupiers? And they look at me like, what are you talking about? So, well, let me explain something. Let's assume that you are, let's assume you're, and I know I'm wasting your time with it. I know you're not, this isn't your game, and I appreciate it, but work with me on this. And listen, never, you don't have to explain this. There are some things people just don't want to hear about. You don't want to hear about astrology. You don't want to hear about, I don't really want to hear about mysticism, thing like that. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have our thing. There's some things I just don't really care about. I really, honestly, God, I don't. But I care more about, well, what does it mean? So my question is, what I find interesting is that why do you not know anything about what's happening in Israel? Why? Because you're used to being bored. That's why. There was a YouTube, an internet, an X. By the way, do we still tweet, honey? Do we tweet or do I X? Would you X me? You know, I read an X. We still call it a tweet. I don't know what you want to call it, but what are you going to do? But I think we say Twitter. Yeah. It's like album. There was a story about George Floyd's legacy. Now, do you think that's really a story? Do you think that's a story? Anybody? Do you really believe that? Do you think that George Floyd is what? When I say George Floyd, what really was George Floyd? What was George Floyd to you? Let me see if I can get the actual. It was very interesting. I'm reading these. Here are some of these, for example. Oh, here's another. Biden is just mispronouncing everything. He's saying the wrong things. They had something for Nigeria or Kenya or Nigeria, some event at the White House. And my favorite is Joe had to pick him up at the airport. Isn't that great? Biden couldn't do it. My good friend Mark Simone said one time, asked the best question. He said, would you let Joe Biden drive you home from the airport? Harvard Corporation overturns faculty decision, sparks controversy. This is as close to getting to the Israel-Palestinian issue. The Harvard Corporation, the governing body of Harvard University, overruled a faculty decision to confer degrees on 13 seniors who participated in pro-Palestinian protests. This decision has sparked significant controversy, with some supporting the corporation's stance as a stand against radical protest, while others criticize it for undermining faculty authority and students' rights. Now, let me ask you something. Do you believe, I know I'm wasting my time with this, but I'm going to pretend you care. I'm going to pretend you care with this one. I'm going to pretend. Do you think that you should be able to tell somebody, I'm sorry, all that work you did, we're not going to give you a degree from Bowling State or whatever it is, because you have enunciated, you have articulated positions that we find problematic, radical, whatever it is. Do you think that makes sense? Yes or no? Do you think? Do you really? Do you? You know, most Americans think, this is the biggest assault to academic freedom you can possibly imagine. This is beyond anything you have ever seen. And Ted Cruz, oh my God. Lindsey Graham, oh my God. Now, anybody? Anybody? Say it. I don't care. Say it. Most people say, this is in an era, in a time when people are questioning the efficacy and the need and the utility of colleges and going into student debt. This is what you're doing? Do you understand the implications of this? Do you see where this is going? Do you see the issue is not, it's not the story, it's what the story means. Does that make sense to you? Let me try it again. It's not this. Now, do you think that, oh my God, I walked by the TV before and I had this Fox News. It looked like the waiting room, the morning show, Kilmeade, I love my troops, and the other one, and Ducey, they were sitting there, and it looked like I thought this looks like a waiting room. I don't know what it was, a waiting room for something not good. They are just they are exquisitely demented when it comes. In any event. Nobody cares about that. Okay, fine. Joan Collins turns 91. Now, when I say Joan Collins, and I say Dynasty, Dallas, Falcon Crest, what were the other ones? Dynasty, Falcon Crest, Knots Landing, and Dallas. What does that mean culturally? Let me ask this question. What does that mean? Ask people. What does that mean? Okay. Is that just some entertainment story? No. It's a very important issue. What did that mean? What did that represent? People couldn't tell you. They have no idea because Americans can't read themes. They don't say like, oh yes, that was the last time we had it was the actual serialization of drama during this particular period where money and largesse, and it was where JR and the whole notion of money and I'm not sure if it was before or at the time of Wall Street, but that all the assholes on Wall Street with, I mean, the American Psycho, that kind of mentality. There was an event that most of us remember in our generation. Maybe if you're old enough. Little Ricky's birth on Lucy was maybe the biggest event ever. They said, I don't know if this is true or not, but they said that whenever they flushed the toilet, that it caused such a drain on the New York water or something like that. I think the other one was the end of MASH, the last show of MASH, Seinfeld maybe. But Who Shot JR was bigger than anything you can imagine. Now, if you ask somebody, okay, kids, take out a paper or type and write me an essay on what this means. Tell me what the implications of this are. They have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me what it means. What can you draw from that? I don't know. What does it mean? Where the country was involved in something, where there was a serialization of something that we all kind of followed. Now we do a little bit on Netflix, but then we got, you notice that the binging is kind of over to an extent. Sopranos was the last time. It was the notion of, this community where everybody, appointment TV, but there was a cultural, everybody was connected. I was just going to say that this week is Fleet Week. Fleet Week was really put on the map because of Sex and the City. Sex and the City was one of the most important shows ever. Did I watch it? No. But NASCAR is important too. I don't watch NASCAR. See, a lot of people also, they say, well, I don't care about that. It doesn't mean anything to me. I say, well, I didn't ask if it's important to you. Now, here's one for you. Alito's flag. What exactly is the story about Alito's flag? You can ask people, what does this mean? Well, if you watch Fox News, they'll say, well, it doesn't matter because he's Alito. We like him. He's a conservative. And they hate him. And it's stupid. But what does it mean? What do you mean, what does it mean? Well, what does it mean? Is it important? I don't know if it's important, but what does it mean? What is the flag? What is appeal to heaven? Well, I don't know. Well, don't you think you should know what it means? Well, you're talking about it, Fox. Well, yeah, we're talking about. Well, what are you talking? Well, what is it? The Alito flag. The flag was designed, and by the way, it takes this fast to learn this. This is a beautiful thing. in 1775 by Colonel Joseph Reed, who was George Washington's personal secretary. It was specifically commissioned by Washington. It was inspired by a New Hampshire riot against British tree regulations. It was inspired by a New Hampshire riot against tree regulations. Today it serves as the official maritime flag of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, although the slogan was removed in the 70s. That's it. And do you think that Justice Alito should recuse himself from any J6 consideration? Why? Because this indicates a particular predisposition, a predilection, a thought process a priori that would disenable him from doing a good job. Why? Why? Do you think? Remember when they were talking about just? I mean, do you mean to tell me that a president? Now, if they said, J6 is one thing or whatever it is. Or if he's written exclusively, if he says, I don't think this was an insurrection, I think it's great. Okay, maybe. But this is a number of things. This is a combination of, let's see if we could just get rid of him because we hate his guts because of Dobbs. We hate him. Why? And once we hate somebody, we hate him. I talked about this the other night. You point to somebody, go, we hate him. Tucker Carlson, hate him. This one, hate him. Hate him. We hate him. We hate everybody. We hate him. Why? We just love to hate. We love to hate America, where we love to hate. We love to hate. Oh, it's great. It's our passion. It's our thing. It's what we are. Seriously. Hating is who we are. It's what all of us, it's what we are about. It's absolutely true. We love to hate. They have these things in I don't know if they have them where you are, but in Jersey they have these. What's that one that in Clifton they say like we're too. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They'll have some phrase, a city that embraces the arcane, or a city without stigma. It's like stigma free. Stigma free. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? This is Clifton, New Jersey. What do you think it is? Stigma free. We're stigma free. Okay, that's good. No, you don't understand. We're stigma. Okay, great. I understand. No. We're stigma free. All right. Well, America should be a town or a country where we just hate things. We hate things. We hate people. We do. We hate people. We hate more stuff than you can imagine. And we love to hate. Okay? We love to hate. Okay, the next thing. Amal Clooney. What's her story? Anybody? What's this? What about Amal Clooney? Amal Clooney is driving people crazy. What about Amal Clooney? Anybody? Do you know the background of that one? Has anybody from Fox News explained that to you? Has anybody? No. They just say that, she's just some anti-Semite because they've conflated anybody who dares to prosecute. Remember, they didn't call anybody a Russophobe when they were applauding the indictment of Vladimir Putin. That was a different story. The same court now, same court. And the fact that they've also, they haven't indicted, but they're requesting that they have these indictments. But now they're screaming, yelling over Amal Clooney. Amal Clooney apparently did some research. She was the Mr. Khan, the how do I say this? Khan, the prosecutor for the ICC, is her mentor. And she may have actually been, believe it or not, involved in some research and the like. So is she a bad person? Is she not good anymore? What's the story with Amal Clooney? Anybody? Are you following this? Amal Clooney? What gives with Amal Clooney? Are we supposed to look the other way? Are we? What is it? What are you talking? Who knows? Nobody tells you. Nobody tells you. They have no idea. Someone writes, why is Amal relevant? What are we doing? Somebody actually wrote this. Why is Amal relevant? Dub, you wrote that. Why is Amal relevant? Do you not think Amal Clooney, the wife of the charter member of the leftist clique who has now basically associated herself ostensibly with advocating the indictment of Bibi Netanyahu and Noah Galanter and some quote Hamas people, one of them who's a negotiator who can't even go back to negotiate. Anyway, you actually asked me, why is that relevant? Hollywood's golden boy, you're actually suggesting, this is incredible, you're actually suggesting that you don't know why this is important. She is Lebanese, whatever. But what this is going to do when you're going to say, wait a minute, George, what's happening? When Oprah Winfrey interviewed Kate in derogation of the rule, basically where she is slamming the royal couple. Remember that? People said, well, who cares about Oprah? And by the way, that's what Americans think. We love to say, well, who cares about that? We love it. Well, I don't watch that. I don't care about that. I don't watch cable. I don't watch CNN. Who cares about Bill Maher? Who cares? Who cares? Well, what do you care about? I don't know. But it's who we are. It's this indifference. It's this thing about, and I don't mean to point you out, but it's true. It's like, you really don't understand how this is going to play, how this is showing a restructuring of the leftist elite. And one of the biggest, this is going to be a fracture point, is Israel, especially with the elections. The people say, well, I don't care. I don't see what the big deal is. This is the problem. This is why we are okay. Just saying, we are done. Now, Fani Willis. Okay, we like this one. She's black, she's obnoxious, and everybody hates her, right? Let's be honest. Fani Willis is in that kind of Tiffany Henyer, Jasmine Crockett. Not just because she's black, but it's this arrogance. That's the thing. All she needs are the eyelashes, and we are in. Nobody can. Muriel Bowser doesn't do this. Lori Lightfoot. It's not the fact that she's black. The fact that she's this Jerry Springer anger. Okay. And she said, nobody's above the law. Do you know how critical this is? The best thing that ever happened to Trump is for her to be the prosecutor. Anybody following this one? No. Who cares? Who cares? Okay, good. George Floyd's legacy. Here's what I wanted to read here. This is what they're telling you is trending. This is my favorite. Let me see. Okay, George Floyd's legacy. Daddy, oh damn it. Daddy changed the world. Where is this? Daddy changed the world. Somewhere. Anyway, this is trending. Who cares, right? It's over. You understand that? Understand what I'm saying? Who cares? Okay, good. Next, Trump's trial in New York. What's going to happen with that? Now, I don't know about you, but most of us have been overwhelmed with that. Absolutely overwhelmed to the point where we can't even follow anymore. It's just incredible. Uh-oh. Lori Cook says, just got here. I got the same flag. There you go. And by the way, please buy this flag. Please, please go out. You can get it on Amazon or whatever you want. Everybody within the sound of my voice, just to drive people nuts. Make sure and appeal to heaven, the tree flag, please, and wear it because they are trying, obviously, they are trying above all to do everything in their power to create the notion, to create the idea that somehow this is a tantamount or this is some form of reference to January 6th edition or something along those lines. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a great and a glorious favor. Stand by, dear friends. Stand by because it's time for us also to talk to our other very critical and important person of note, our great sponsor, regarding this notion called food insecurity from preparewithlionel.com. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And while you still have some control, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Well, your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, take $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family to prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 3-month kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day with 22 varieties and a 25-year shelf life. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks, everything. And they're sealed inside 6 rugged waterproof buckets, and they're over 120 pounds of food. So take advantage right now and go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. One more time, preparewithlionel.com. Now, my friend, there's also incredible movements right now, and I want to bring something up to you for your attention, which I hope you care about. I hope so, because they're fascinating. And remember what I'm telling you. Nobody's going to and I think Lori Cook knows this. She knows this. There are different moves in the horizon. Number one, dumb phones are making an historic move, an increase in preference for reasons that may or may not be obvious to you, number one. Number two, alcohol has been supplanted by weed. Marijuana is proving, this iteration is proving to be worse than alcohol was. That can't be, can you? That can't be. Well, that's what they're saying. Next, I'm doing some deep diving, and I'm talking about, and we'll be talking about more of a story. I know you don't care. Anne Heche. The mysterious death of Anne Heche. Why? And what was Anne Heche doing prior to her untimely demise? Also, woke has been canceled. Do you know when the worst period of what we call woke is about? It was between 1989 and 1991 during PC, political correctness. It was worse than anything you've ever seen. There was an article in National Review, which is brilliant, on what was the backlash. Remember then, Dumb and Dumber, the Beavis and Butthead, cruder kind of jokes. And why? I know. I didn't watch Beavis and Butthead. I don't care about that. I don't know anything about that. I never watched that. Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care. Nobody cares. Okay, I understand. But what does it mean? It meant there was a cultural backlash. Remember, politics is downstream from culture. So what's also important to know, what's also critical to know, is that we're seeing this again. And we're seeing people like Seinfeld and others and Maya Rudolph. And recently, in a very telling SNL skit, I know I don't watch SNL. I haven't watched it for years. It sucks. It's stupid. I know. Okay. Let's get it out of the way. In a SNL skit of sorts, which by the way is the approval, the official imprimatur of these folks, they are saying repeatedly words to the effect that this one Keenan William, whatever his name is, was saying, I paid $68,000 and my daughter better. Your kids can protest. My kids can't. It was one of the best. And of course, it was attacked by woke and lefty columnists. The Tom Brady roast. I know. Let me guess. I didn't watch it. I don't know anything about it. I don't care. Who cares? I don't care. All right. Get that out of the way. Why was it important? It was 3 hours or 2 hours of the crudest, most politically incorrect stuff that was wonderful. Not because of that, but because of what it said. Lori says, I can't send a super chat on Mrs. L's channel. Why? We are waiting for monetization. But you stand by, Lori. We will let you know. But if you go to her channel, she will always be able to say you can donate and support. You go to follow her, go to linswarriors.org, linswarriors.org, or when you go to her channel on YouTube at Lins Warriors, you'll be able to see ways where you can donate. And thank you for that. There was an article by Christian Schneider, and I want to read this to you. It's one of the most important, one of the most brilliantly phrased pieces ever. It says, perhaps the most welcome byproduct of the revival of fun is the shrinking effect of cancel culture. After years of political activists trying to serve as America's human resources department, it seems we have all tired of loudmouths claiming a scalp by getting people fired for something they said. Let me ask you, is it safe? Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori Cook. It was great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lynn's Warriors, her stuff is absolutely, I'm telling you, it is not just because she's my wife, but it's true. Nobody, you have no idea the people she talks to during the day. You have no idea. Leave it at that. Now, what's critical to note about this is we're seeing the pendulum swing back like a wrecking ball. Donald Trump in the Bronx. Donald Trump in the Bronx. Dear God, the Bronx, they love him. We're going to see regattas. And so what did the news do today? What did the news, Lori, predict? What did they say? Heavy or high winds expected. Basically telling you, don't go there. Because remember, trending is not what's trending. Trending is what they want you to think is trending. It's changing. There's another movement too. Young people. There's a group that are follow this one. Make sure you have this. Make sure you say my pronouns are USA. Why? For the longest time, there are a bunch of kids and people who are using this, and they're being quashed, they're being limited, they're being censored for saying my pronouns are USA. You say it. There was a resurgence. We saw it before. Various fraternities. I know. I don't care. I don't like fraternities. Okay. In colleges, all of a sudden, the one group that protected the flag, kind of almost like Mount Suribachi, sort of. It is changing drastically. Why is everybody talking about COVID now? Why is everybody getting away talking about COVID? The same thing you would say, if what is the coast clear? Can you say everything you want about COVID now? I guess. How can you say everything on social media about Israel? I guess. Nobody's shutting that down. That surprises me tremendously. I thought for sure they said, this is clearly hate. This is anti-Semitic. No, it's okay. Because believe it or not, the left has been prototypically connected with either Palestinian or, quote, anti-Israel, whatever the hell that means. Do you see what's happening? Know trends, know what's happening. Be able to see what is happening. Pay attention, dear friends, to what is happening. And do me a favor. Everything matters. Everything is important. Everything is interconnected. Everything. If all of a sudden you read that tap dancing or clogging or dollhouses or people cutting their hair at home or remember there was this my dear friend, my late friend, told me that he was noticing there's all of these things on YouTube about learning how to convert your vans to living there without mortgages. Kids weren't, there were changes. You have to look. You never see bed bugs, you see results of bed bugs. You never see termites, you see their results. Politics is downstream from culture. Never say I don't care. Never say who cares, doesn't matter. Amal Clooney actively, openly citing, taking credit for being one of the investigators, one of the researchers of this. Do you know what this is doing? Do I have to tell you? If you don't get it, go watch Fox News. This is huge. And you have to know when things change. You have to be always say, what's different now? Remember, one of the things which is the most important as you get older is the ability to say and to realize when things have changed. That's it. So Lori Cuck, God bless you, Lori Cuck. LC, you are the best. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And don't forget, remember, Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Lynn's Warriors. You go and you check out, and there's all the information on how you can donate and be a part of her. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. All right, your friends, we'll see you later on. I've got to remember, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed. This is critical stuff here because I've got a bunch of stuff coming later. And make sure, sometimes people are telling me that they're unsubscribed. In any event, have a great and glorious day. Thank you so much. Everything matters. Everything's connected. Everything. Remember, they're not going to tell you the truth. You've got to decipher it. You've got to figure out what's going on. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. And don't forget, my friends, as we always say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da, da.